I'm gonna try to as much as I can, but I mean, when somebody is as awkward as he is, there really is no substitute for it. And,
so, what are you telling Rashad in the Smile and Sam fight?
Well, with Sam Alvey, I mean, Sam's got big punches. You know, I think with Daniel Kelly, I would have wanted to see Rashad be a little more loose with his hands. With Sam Alvey, I think stay loose with your hands, but use that to transition. Use that to transition. And Sam Alvey has good takedown defense in those transitions when you feel like it's too much work to continue for the takedown, transition back to just beating him up.
Yeah.
You know, just make it as easy for yourself as possible, and use your wrestling to set all of that up.
See, that's the thing that I think that I've been doing wrong. I feel like I've been just making this a lot more complex than it has to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day,
but you've also had some outside shit going on. I mean,
the
Black Zillions, and then having your own fight team, and then like having to go everywhere and be everyone else's coach, and
that's probably been one of the biggest problems that I had, because when the team first started, it wasn't about making a team. It was about having a team around me and what I needed, and that's the reason why I left Jackson's, because of the whole situation with John Jones. And I'm like, I'm never going to create that situation again. So I just want a team just dedicated to helping me get to where I want to be and where I could be. And it was like that. But then after a while, everyone came, and then everyone, different weight class and everything, and then the team emerged. But with that whole situation, I ended up carrying a lot of responsibility of just making sure that everyone stay together and making people come to me. They come to me, they lean on me, they depend on me for guidance, and I found myself just giving so much of myself that I didn't really have anything left for me.
Absolutely. Now, Anthony Johnson says he's going to open up a marijuana shop. And I wrote the joke that it hits really strong in the beginning, and then you get tired after 5 minutes. But is that have you talked to Anthony Johnson about this?
Yeah, I talked to him.
How's he? Is he gonna come back? Please tell me he's coming back.
He'll say no, but I guarantee he probably comes back within a year at heavyweight.
Heavyweight.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, he misses it. He's gonna miss it.
Fuck, man! I already knocked out all the 205ers. Yeah. So go up one more.
He's gonna miss it too much to stay away.
The thing about Anthony Johnson that throws me, man, was when we were filming that movie Warrior, and he was fighting at 170 pounds.
Right, he was small.
We spent that whole summer together. We spent 5 weeks together. Him, myself, Nate Marquardt. We trained a couple of. We didn't really do a whole lot of work on the film, so we were training probably like 3 or 4 days out of the week. And yeah, he hit me a couple of times back then. It's like, yeah, this guy's powerful. Of course, we were in pads, 16s, and all those things. But it's like I couldn't imagine being hit by him now, man. He was big then. He's so much of a bigger guy now.
Yeah, I think all off of gummy bears too.
I think big is an understatement for what Rumble was, because I mean, even I was at his fight against Yoshida, and I think that was UFC 104, so it was many years ago, like 2009, and he's cutting to 170. And it's just like, what the fuck? And he walks in there and he kills that guy, and then the whole weight thing happened, and then he found his spot. I watched him against Arlovsky in WSOF at heavyweight, and I'm like,
yeah, this
dude's a monster. I wouldn't want to fight him if I was Tim Sylvia at 400 pounds.
I mean, now, do you think with that guy, it's just what do you think? Cormier has his number, or you think it's just mental?
It's definitely mental, but Anthony, he was going through a lot going into that fight, and he'll never say it, but he was going through a lot just going into that fight.
The rematch,
yeah. I mean, Henry Hooft and Neil Melanson and there's the Henry squad, and then there's the Black Zillions, which is, I guess still technically under Glenn Robinson and Neil Melanson and those guys. So Anthony wanted to use both those coaches. Neil hates Henry. Henry don't really care for Neil. They both feel the same about each other, and it caused him some kind of confusion because he wanted his team to work together. I mean, Neil and Henry,
divided, man.
Yeah, house divided already. Neil didn't go to any of his sparring or watch him, train when he went over to Combat Club because Henry was there, and Henry didn't go to Black Zillions and watch him doing his grappling because.
But they're all taking his money. You know,
And that's the thing about it. When you hire someone for a job, and that is probably my biggest problem with a lot of these MMA coaches, is that they seem to forget who works for who. If I hire you for a job and I'm going to pay you afterwards, then you're my employee and you should act as so.
I mean, and work it out. This guy is going to be could be the champion of the world, and how much great would that be for your gym, for you?
It's pride. It's pride and it's ego, and it's about them not making it about who it should have been, you know. And that was it bothered me. It bothered me a lot, you know. And even after the fight was over, when Henry walked off, he was very disappointed at Anthony, and I can understand that. But at the same time, you know, it is this guy's, you know, his last fight, you know, and if he wants you to stand there, then you stand there. But, you know, the reason why he didn't stay there is the same reason why you couldn't bring him and Neil together.
Right.
The ego.
And then on top of that, there's something about that, a fighter, not just a guy like Anthony, all fighters. I mean, when you have a coach, that person is important to you, you know. When the guy, especially in the UFC, the guys that you want next to the cage, you want talking to you in between rounds, those people are important to you. They're just not people that you bring in there on a whim, you know. And you want them to be proud. You want them to feel good too at the end of the night. And you fight sometimes, like if the house is divided, like he's saying it is, you know. We all like, why is Rumble trying to take DC down? You know, there could be some, like maybe, like Neil's not, he doesn't feel important to me, and I want him to feel, or whatever. There's all these different
mindsets,
little things that could be in there that he don't need to be dealing with, because he's fighting the best guy in the world.
Yeah,
and that's the thing about it. It's like, you know, when you have a corner and they're there for you, there has to be some kind of idea of a complete game plan, and we got to come and sit down together, like, okay, listen, we're going to watch this fight together, all the components of his corner, and as a grappling coach, I'm going to tell you what I think, and you tell me what you think as a striking coach, and as a wrestling coach, you tell me what you think, and we're going to come together and devise a concrete plan for, you know, if this happens, we go plan A, plan B, and plan C, and this is, so that way our fighter doesn't feel lost. But then they get mad at him when he's under stress, and then he's not fighting the way that they train. But how could you get mad at him when you guys didn't prepare him together?
The Navy, the Air Force, and the Marines, those guys don't really like each other. But when it's time for war, they got to come together.
That's a great analogy. And the thing about Anthony Johnson is that, you know, I don't think he sees himself like everyone sees him. Like he's one of those guys where it's like, you know, it's like that hot chick who's a fucking 10 but looks in the mirror and sees an ugly chick. No, you're perfect. And that seems like Anthony Johnson. Like, he needs you to talk to him as if he needs encouragement. And, you know, he doesn't need like a broken home. So.
That's absolutely, yeah. And that's the thing that I noticed about Anthony when he's with his squad and he feels like everyone is there and he fights, he'll put on a good show. He'll fight the way he can fight. But if he feels a little bit of bad energy, then it'll get in his head a bit.